Michael, and today I want to show you a little bit about audio production with Muse and Ardour. And we'll do this by creating a complete cover song of the Dream Theater song Surrounded. So if you want to know how to come from this to this,
long time, he's had a while to think it over. In the end he only sees the change, a light to dark, dark to light, light to dark, dark to light. Heaven must be more than this, when angels waken with a kiss. Sacred hearts won't take the pain, but mine will never be the same. Stand before the wind.
then stay tuned. Okay, so first things first, so I will show you how I do things. So rule number one, don't believe anything that I'm saying. If you're more of a semi-pro to pro guy, you already have your working flow, and yeah, I just show you my way of doing the things. If you're more of a beginner, it's very important that you find your own style that fits to you, so the tools and how you do things. So what I do today is just an example. Yeah, then why the song Surrounded? Okay, there's a couple of reasons. First reason is I've already done that, so nearly 20 years ago, on a Roland VS880 hard disk recorder and a computer with a Yamaha DB50X G card. So if you're old enough to know what it is, you know how old I am. I recorded that, and then I had it on audio tape, and I completely lost the recording. So yeah. But while browsing through my hard disk, a few days ago I stumbled across the Midi file for Surrounded, which I created back then. So I thought it would be fun to recreate this and also to show how to do it with free and open source software on Linux. Yeah, then the second reason, it's a perfect match for this. So it's a Dream Theater song, but it's in one of the easiest Dream Theater songs. If you know Dream Theater, they can be quite complex, but still it's so easy that I can play it on guitar. So I'm not John Petrucci, so still it's playable for me, which is quite a big advantage. Then it has still some tempo and meter changes inside, which is Dream Theater specific, yeah. And you have layering of different instruments, so you have drums, bass, guitar, you have synthesizers, and you have a piano. So I can show you also how I work with instruments and plugins on Linux. The main production will be in Ardour, so we will do some MIDI editing first in Muse, then import the stuff into Ardour, and then do the recording and mixing and mastering in Ardour. Okay, so let's start. MIDI editing. So first, I use most of the time exclusively Muse, simply because it fits my working style best. I don't like the MIDI editing of Ardour, just a personal thing. I did too much wrong with it. So I had a look at Rose Garden and Q Tractor, and Muse was for me the best fitting way for me. So it's a personal choice. And it also has quite flexible drum maps, because most of the time I use Muse only for drum programming with Drum Gizmo, and the drum maps are quite a bit an advantage for this. It's also quite flexible, and it has some nice features. It's missing some things, but it's really okay. Yeah. Then I will show you how to edit a little bit, mainly the drums, a little bit the instruments. Then we will export this stuff, import it into Ardour, and then we'll make the rest there. So, let's start. Okay, so here we are again. I've already started Muse. So just for the sake of completeness, I'm using Muse 2.1. I think it's the latest stable version. I use an Ubuntu Studio 14.04 and with the Cake Studio repos. So it comes with them. And the first thing, we have just an audio output, that's all. So the first thing is to import the Midi file, which I've created. So if you want to do this for other songs, you can find plenty of Midi files on the internet with varying quality. If you can't find a Midi file, there is also a small trick, because some of the guitarists are a bit of nerds, yeah. And for example, you can go to ultimateguitar.com and search for a band or a song, so you have plenty here, and download, for example, the Guitar Pro version. And if you open that, you will, with Tux Guitar, you will get the tab for guitar. But also a lot of them are quite complete here. So as you see, this is the song from Queen, Who Wants to Live Forever. And you have all instruments of the song in there. So what you can do is just file, export Midi, and then you have a Midi file with which you can work, which is quite nice. So we don't need Muse now, Tux Guitar, so just close it. And the first thing is to import the Midi file. So file, import Midi file, and then we go music projects, old Midi, and there we have it surrounded. So you see the file is from December 1997, so it's nearly 20 years old. So open, and we add it to the project. So there we have the Midi data. Since this is not general Midi, but it was on this Yamaha DB50XG card, you have here some system exclusive initialization of the instruments, which we don't need, so just select them and remove them. So what do we have? We have a piano, we have strings, we have a chorus electric piano, I think. We have the bass, we have a mellow pad, we have a synth lead, and then we have the drums. So first thing is, of course, we don't hear anything now. So the first thing is to get it to sound something. So we'll add a synth. We add synth, and in this case, this is just for the Midi editing itself. It's not the final sounds we will use. So I use the Calf Fluid synth. So and then we just put all of these to the fluid synths. Yep. So then we open it with right click on the Calf Fluid synth and show the native GUI. So now we have no sound font loaded, so we still don't hear anything. So the standard sound font is in my machine, it's on user share sound SF2, and here we have the fluid synth standard general Midi sound font. So we open it, then we just assign the instruments. So we have on channel 1 we have the piano, so this can stay, we just use that. Channel 2 are the strings, so let's see. Let's do the slow strings. Channel next is the chorus electric piano on channel 6. 6 is yeah, we let's use this. It's anyway not the final sound. So then piano strings chorus repeated, and the bass is on channel 4. So let's see where the bass is here. And we use a fingered bass because Drum Gizmo is obviously plays the bass with the fingers. Then we have here the mellow pad on channel 5. 5 is then, let's see what we have here. One pad will be good enough. And then we have the synth lead on channel 7. So where are the synths? Strings. Saw wave. Saw wave is good. And on channel 10 we have the drums. So we have here the standard drums. Yep. Just let it like that. And so let's see if we already have a sound. Yeah. So let's see if we have to, yeah. Okay, so it works. The drums we have here, this drum map, this is especially useful if you do a lot of drum editing. So I really like that, and you can create your own ones if you like. So we have sound. Good. So first things first, when I first had a look into the file, I noticed that I have some problems. So for example, if you listen to here, especially to the strings, and you notice the strings here cut off for some reason. Yeah? So if you look inside and just play this part, these notes here, this note is not played. And the reason is the MIDI file was created on an ancient version of, I don't know what software I used, I think it was a Cakewalk. And the problem is, if you look here, there's an overlap between the notes. And this is strictly forbidden in the MIDI standard, but Cakewalk obviously could deal with it. So you will find this in quite a few places. It doesn't, you see it here. Yeah, the note is a little bit longer, but it doesn't. It is not a problem if it's if this has different notes. But if it's on the same line, then it gets a MIDI start and immediately MIDI stop. So you will not hear this note. So the first thing is, fortunately, Muse has a nice function for this to clean this up. So zoom out a bit. Just select all of the melody lines. The drums don't have this problem. And then we go to functions and delete overlapping notes. The name is a little bit misleading. It doesn't delete the note, it just makes it removes the overlaps. So then we say selected events. Okay. And now if we go here, so now the note is played. Simple enough. So the first thing, and we will concentrate on, is the drum programming. So obviously these drums, yeah, if you listen to them, oh, that's a little bit loud. This was the lead. So volume, we turn the volume on and hit it to maybe half, so 127 is the maximum, I think. That's better. Mellow pad is okay. This is also something about that. So the drums are not that yeah, we can do better. So the standard sound from the fluid synth is okay for purpose, but of course we will use then better instruments. So the first thing is, of course, we will now use the mighty Drum Gizmo plugin. If you don't know Drum Gizmo, it's a free plugin. You can find it at drumgizmo.org. Yep. And you have also some free drum kits available. The DRS kit, the Multijot kit, the ASI Monster, and the Shitty kit now. I will use the Multijot kit. The reason is the DRS kit would be a bit nicer. It has more instruments, more options, but it's a horror to mix. So it has tons of bleed, especially from the snare to the kick drum. And in this regard, the Multijot kit is far easier to mix. I've already used it quite some time, so that's okay. So Drum Gizmo should be a bit of an open source alternative to things like a Superior Drummer or Easy Drummer or something like that, but it has only it doesn't have these graphical features and the mixer and the internal plugins and tons of libraries. It just is the core processing with velocity groups and whatnot. So this job it does quite well for the production. So if you're on Linux, you want to use open source software, it's one of the ways to go. You could also use Hydrogen, but Hydrogen is more suited for electronic music. It's more pattern based, and Drum Gizmo is in this regard. If you use it with Muse, you are completely free. So we'll use that. So the first problem is Drum Gizmo has 16 outputs in the standard version, and instruments on instrument tracks in Muse only have 2, so stereo. So you will get a quite weird sounding drum kit because it does only connect the first 2 channels, and fortunately there is a workaround for this. The Linux people are quite developed quite cool tools for this, and somehow they named it after their girlfriends or something like that. And we simply take one of this. So we actually do this with Muse settings, Midi, port synths. So then we go down. And the first girlfriend we need is named Carla, and I find it in my list always after the Invader. So you have the patch bass and the rack. You have 16 channels, 32 channels, one with side chains, but we need the simple stereo version. Double click, it appears here. Okay. So we have here the color patch bay and show native GUI with the KX Studio. So there is nothing here right now. So we have the audio input, output, the MIDI input, MIDI output. So, and now we add Drum Gizmo. Okay, I pre-selected it already, so there are lots of plugins inside, yeah. And here we have a filter function, so we use Drum Gizmo. And the first thing is we connect the MIDI. Yep. And then we load the drum kit, and then route the outputs. So we load the Multijot kit. Yep. I have them in a folder in Sounds Drum Kits. I have also the DRS kit. I have some other kits here. Mapex kit is also it's a commercial drum library which I bought and created a Drum Gizmo patch for it. So I will use Multijot kit. If you wonder why there's Multijot kit 2, it's because I have slight modifications done on it. But it shouldn't matter. So we select the drum kit file. And now it starts to load them. And we also select the MIDI map. And I will show you the differences that I have done. They are not important for this. And if you want to let the human noise, I usually found it that I put the settings quite low. You can also disable it. So it will not make much effect for this track. Okay, so now it's loaded, and now we have to route the outputs. So we need to know the channels. So which channel is what? So we can close this, and the thing is, let's go to sounds, drum kits, the Midi kit, and there's a README file coming with it. So we make this stay on top, switch to Muse. Here's the color patch bin. So, and here we have the channel allocation from Drum Gizmo for the Midi kit. So we have here a stereo channel with ambience left-right, and we have here the overhead left-right. These are the only stereo channels. All other are mono. So even if there's kick drum left and right, it's because you have two kick drums. It's a metal kit, and these are two mono tracks. This is not a stereo track. So for stereo, it's obviously very easy. So ambience channel 1 and 2 is ambience left-right, so we just connect them as it is, and then the overheads left is 6 and 7. 6 left, 7 is right. So we've connected the stereo tracks. All other are mono tracks. So in order that it doesn't get sound weird, we connect them simply to both, to left and to right. Do this with everything. This is a bit of work to do. Have I done it? So both. And if you have done it once, you should both. The only thing we won't use is the trigger, because it is empty, at least on my download from the drum kit. So this is channel. Yeah, should be okay. So the kick drum trigger signal, we don't need it. So, and if you have everything done correctly, we should now be able to hear drums. Good, we just keep this because we will later need it for Ardour as well. So, and then the first thing, of course, is export this setting somewhere with a file so you can always reload it. I have already done this, so don't need to. So we have now created the instrument for Drum Gizmo. So on the next is we need a Midi track for this. So we can't simply root that because I want to keep this track for reference. So this is general Midi, and just to see where the notes were put, I keep this track and create a new one. And the thing is, we need old style drum track for Drum Gizmo. The difference between new drum track and old style is, as I have understood it, is that the device is directly assigned, so you can assign also system exclusive messages and drum maps and whatever to this. But if you put something in color patch bay, it could be really different instruments, so you can't do that. So we use the old style drum track, which is a bit more flexible in this regard. So I use this Drum Gizmo and put it up here. Yeah. So, and now we just copy the drums down to this track, and then it comes you cannot copy move clone to different track type. Fortunately, this is very easy to work around, so you switch just from new style drum to drum, copy it down, switch back to new style drum, and that's it. And then we mute it. We have just to look at it if we need some information, and that's all. I think I forgot something. Yeah. So now here I can load the drum map. I created one for the Midi kit drum map. So if we open it, and it looks like that. So these are the instruments that are available for Drum Gizmo. And so the difference between what I have edited in the Multijot kit to create the Multijot kit 2 for me personally is I have the snare and here the snare 2, it's exactly the same instrument, but I have 2 tracks for the snare, and also for the toms I recreated them because for quick changes I don't often don't these very tight things. So I have for snare, for flames on the tom and on the snare, I like to have 2 different tracks so I can keep a bit more control of it. So, and the other thing is I haven't assigned it, so it's assigned to the Firewire output. So we assign it to the color patch bay, which is Drum Gizmo. And now let's go to the beginning. We should be able to. The thing is also because we have routed the outputs in the color patch bay, so the volumes of the different instruments from the drum kit will not match. But again, it's here just for editing and not the final sound. The mixing will be done then in Ardour. So the first thing that comes up is, of course, this instrument is not assigned. So it's normally a bongo, or in normal kit you could also use a side stick, but we don't have this, unfortunately, in the Multijot kit. But you need something. I thought that you can use also a Druntin normal snare roll. It's okay for this usage, so we'll close one eye and take this. So if you shift click on a note, then every note on this line gets selected, and we just move it to the snare roll, and then we have this note. So the other thing is that the right symbol, as you see here with the velocity, it's even and this sounds a little bit mechanic. So if you also switch, you can see the velocity of all notes or just of the selected note, and of course for editing this is quite good to see it only for this note. So because if you have everything, then if you have 2 notes on the same thing, you can only assign the velocity for both. So we switch that, and because this is even, go into the draw mode with shortcut D or clicking here. And then you can randomize it a bit. There's a randomize function, but unfortunately it doesn't work for selected events. It works only for the whole track, which I don't want to do. So, and you can to alter this, you need to know a little bit about the drum kit, how it reacts. And with the Multijot kit, you can do quite some extreme changes. So you can something like this. It's a bit little. Doesn't need to be that high. So the thing is, I want the ones in the. I want to emphasize the ones a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Let's make this lower. So. So you can hear that it's not always the same, which is what we want. Yeah, you get away with the kick drum most of the time if it's the same. Yeah, also with the snare, you have with most instruments you should do it. Okay, so let's have a look what we have here. This is then the transition. So with the same with the hi-hats here, yeah. So let's do the ones. Yeah, and we have here changed to a 9/8 measure. So let's see how this is. Oh, and I see here that go to edit mode with E. The snare is missing. So let's see if we can find. Oh yeah, here is it. So everything that's here on this line is with the snare. Yeah, so it's XG. It's not MIDI standard. So shift click, and we have to move that up. So zoop. Put that on the snare track. I think it was here. Yeah, it's about right. So here we have the same. It's mostly all the same. So we just do this. Here we have the snare roll. So I like to do it quite drastically, something like that. Let's see how that sounds. You can do even a bit more. That's better. So, and top. Yeah, don't get too low with the snare. I think this is already, just pull them up a bit. Yeah, and here you can have a tutum or a tutum. Yeah, so let's make it more tutum. And also the hi-hat. Okay, the hi-hat is done, and now we have here this complicated stuff. So I transcribed the MIDI file by hand. So I had the guitar tab for the song, for the whole album I bought. So there's also the keyboards and so transcribed, but not the drums. So the drums I had to do by ear, which is, if you have a 9/8 measure, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So let's see this one. Close to it, and it's completely even. So let's do some quite. Let's zoom in a bit. Drastic changes. And there are drum kits which are more sensitive to velocity changes. The Multiout kit is not that sensible to them. They're quite consistent in the velocity layers. So and this would be really nice if I could do this. I will later show you how to randomize this for whole tracks. And it would be nice if this would be possible just for selected events. So. Or if it's possible and you know how to do it, please drop me a note. Yeah, so okay, first part finished. So the thing is always I like to emphasize the one in the bar. Zip, zip. It will still sound a bit MIDI-like, so that's not, but it's already a little bit better. So tuk 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 tuk. Next part. So this is quite a bit, yeah. So let's try
because we have crash symbol 1, we use symbol 2, or if we can move these or the other nodes, so let's try first these nodes. So let's try that. That's better. Okay, so this also goes to an empty node and the low floor tom. So this is also not on exactly on the grid. So, and we use these two. We moved it to the low tom. Let's see. It's just maybe a little bit. So let's change the grid to 64 and just so that it's more like a flame. Yeah. More happy with that. So Tom's here. Also here. Yep. So, and here we have the same again with the symbol. So the reason why I'm marking before is because for the eye it's easier to find the real target if it's marked here. So okay, then we have the head again, just a bit even. Yeah, and here we have the okay. Screwed up my snare somehow. Okay. So we were here. Yeah, so and here we have this roll kind of thing, so let's do it like this. Yeah, and because I just lost my snare, let's save this thing. So we go to the main window, Control S, so it will ask you for the name. So, and I like to keep all things into one place for music projects, so I've created a folders around it and a folder Muse, and there I will put it. So Surrounded. So okay, save, go back here. If you save here, then it will save the drum map, so that's why you can't save in this window. Okay. Let's do the hi-hats here. Okay. So we have here the same. So the thing is, if notes are very close together and they have the same velocity, this sounds like this machine gun effect you have often with a MIDI file. So this is not what we want. So create some variation here. Oh yeah, don't forget the toms here. So, and in case you have the disturbing sounds in the background, the kids have just come home. Okay, here's the end of this part. So let's have a look at the toms. This is an open hi-hat. Here we have the toms. So open hi-hat, tom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this the third one is in the here. So this is not good. So we will move them. Edit on this one here. This one. Yeah, and this one can stay. So and depending if you have a left-hand drum or right-hand drummer, you may do this differently. The low floor tom. So I've simulated there is already a little bit of editing here. So do we have other tom parts here the same? Just yep. The floor tom. Yep. You have the same with the cymbals. So select 2, crash cymbal, and take out there. Snare. Ah yeah, these are the toms again. Move them here and move them. Yeah. So then this is again the cymbal. The cymbal, and here we have the toms again. Yeah, I can let them. Okay, yeah, this is more advanced. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Closed hi-hat. This is maybe not correct. Yeah, this should be tom. So this is the low floor tom. So let's zoom in a bit. So we have. Should go here. This should go. Yep. And this should go here. Sounds a bit strange. Okay, this is maybe here. Yeah, now we've got it. You see also the height is a little bit off time, but it's not bad for this case. It will sound a little bit more human. I used to do this, and now most of this stuff is already done with the humanizer. not in Drum Gizmo, but normal drums, if you apply some humanization, they do a little bit of these groove things. So this is then, this must be the solo section. Oops. Good. Okay. Quite a bit far off. Ooh. This is quite a bit illogical, because if you play toms, you can't play the hi-hat. And also the snare, so remove the hi-hats. And also good. It's okay now. Download them. Yep, so we are nearing the ending. Oh yeah, you have another tom round. Doodle-doo. One, two. Okay, yeah. Let's shift this down here. This to here. And this to here. It's okay. Okay. Let's make this a thump. Something like that. Also we removed the snare here. These are 2 hits. The stick should be theoretically possible for a drummer to play, but let's not be too. And this is also off. More like a flam, so let's put it so here. that's for the flames. I like to put them on a different track. Yeah. So anyway, I don't think that's too good here. Whether this in the eye is too much. Wow. Tin. Top. It's a bit convoluted here, so yeah, this is also 64th note, so let's loosen this up a bit. Then we go floor and okay, this was a mistake. So let's pull this down here, and this one's yeah. Okay, this one again here, and then we go between the floor tom. So yeah, and here now the toms are unfortunately let's make this a bit like building up, and then the floor tom a bit more of its still sounds a bit MIDI-esque, but for the sake of simplicity, let's let it. Oh, yeah, and this is the ending, and here we see a very bad thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits in one row, and the drummer has only 4 limbs. So let's do this kick and the crash cymbal 2, crash cymbal 1, so let's remove everything here in between. Yep, so that's it for the drum editing. Drums complete. Ctrl S, save all. Next thing is if you look at the velocities, you have also evened out them. So it's a little bit, it doesn't matter for the strings, and I think the mellow pad will be okay, but for the piano, the bass and the electric piano, this is not good. So we select the track, and then here we can randomize the velocity, so that's cool. Go to edit, Midi transform, event type equal nodes, ignore. The function is transform, the event type keep, and we on selected tracks, that's important. And you have only process all events. Selected tracks are inside the loop, but not selected events. That would be what I would need, and also if it would be accessible from the piano roll. So we will here random minimum, so from the piano, let's say 80 to 100. So, and if we now look, we have here, you will not hear the with Calf with the flute synth, but we'll later use Linux sampler for this, and there you will see a little bit difference. So here it doesn't, but for the strings it doesn't really matter. Chorus, electric piano, we will do the same. So equal note, keep transform, yeah, all okay. Just do it from here, from 90 to 110. And the bass. Yep. Yep, I think that's okay. Actually, let's solo the bass and just have a it's okay. The pad we don't need, and the synth. Oh, we can do a little bit. Okay, we've soloed the track. So we randomized the 2 a bit. 90-110 should be okay. And that should be it. Save, always save in between. Always keep backups. And have I forgotten anything? Doesn't matter, we'll have to see. So the next thing is, the last action here from Muse is to export this file as a Midi file. And then we'll import it into Ardour and assign the sounds, also perform some editing. So we will go to project, yeah, Muse file, this Midi, save. And that should be it from the Muse side. So now let's have a look inside Ardour.